Okay. Um, my purpose is to continuously speak about what's happening to me and testify about my targeting. Uh, sometimes it's hard for me to talk with that feeling, with that all the emotion getting, because it's frustrating, it's disturbing, and it's meant to agitate you. As I'm saying right now, as I'm speaking about it right now, because I'm a target individual with V2K, I can hear childlike individuals like, "You're dying," and I'm like, that doesn't agitate me as much because I know this is like a childlike individual who, if you see them, you're like, "Oh my gosh." It's just like a no and nothing, like truly nothing, like nothing, truly like there's not. You feel like empty air just come by you, so you don't feel anything from that. But this is just an example of the things they try to say to agitate you, and as a target individual, it's hard to just function because you're being tormented in so many ways. I'm obviously being radiated, and it's probably true that something is happening to my body that's causing me to die. But I haven't gotten confirmation, but I'm sure that there's something's happening. Now, with that being said, um, as a target individual, you are forced to have a psyop of some sort. Just a reminder of what being a target individual means is, you know, uh, if you look for target individuals, you'll see a lot of testimonials from a lot of people, and that shows how big it is. There's a lot of women being tortured the same way, a lot. I think if I had to count the amount of women I've seen testifying and men, I say majority I've seen were women. Now it doesn't mean there's more women than men, but I'm just saying it's easy to find that there's a lot of women being tortured in these ways. That I'm being tortured a lot, and it doesn't take long to find that. And it's interesting that the psyop I'm I'm dealing with are trying to create this like fantasy of what they try to portray themselves as. The reality is, target individual. The likelihood that we're in this program is based on a research and development program. They won't torture and do all these horrible things just for the fun of it, right? There is purpose, um, and they won't spend that much money. Maybe for the fun they will do that, but for this amount of resource and funds and amount of money dedicated to torture one person, it obviously shows that there's a purpose of there's some results needed, and the results are needed for this program and this research developing program. And you hear and you see a lot of women being in this program and getting some of the worst torture. And it's funny, for me, they try to create this psyop. They're making me think that this is something else but the reality of what it is. And they have no problem being full of S. They have no problem. That's actually the assignment. They're not supposed to be like the most, like, their job is to be they dumb themselves down. And their job is to really just be bottom feeders. It is their assignment. It's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to um, make themselves present themselves in certain ways, and they don't care how stupid and how illogical, idiotic they have to make themselves be, just for the purpose of gaslighting you. And it's funny, they would say anything to disrupt and disturb you. And it's funny right now, they're like, "Oh, we won." These people are talking to a civilian who's a target individual, and they tell me how they won because my brain has been taken over, just like any other civilian would be taken over. And they say things like that to agitate you because, of course, what they say these things to just try to annoy you, disturb you, because you would be frustrated. Like, of course you. What do you mean you won? I'm a civilian and I'm a subject where my brain is being rewired, and what can I do to even do something about it, right? And these people will be like, "Oh, we won." Right? And this is things that try to agitate you. You're supposed to be like, "Oh my gosh, what? Well, of course you. What do you mean you won? There's nothing winning here. You just been implementing what this technology is supposed to do." But of course, I know they say that to try to agitate me. These people work for governmental entities. They work for governmental entities that intelligence committee related, and they're supposed to implement what these entities are telling them to do. Um, and they do the same thing that you're gonna hear. For me, of course, I get the gang stalking. Of course, I get the everything else. Um, but most important for me, not only that, the V2K is the most destructive thing I'm experiencing. Matter of fact, right now, this like mental battles going on, which I'll address it, but I'm waiting for my introduction to end. And so they've been doing some nasty things. I just woke up from dreams where there was children and babies where they forced me to get stimulations, and it was so training my brain using dreams in these pedophilia ways, making me think of little kids and try to train my brain in these nasty pedophilia ways. It was so disgusting. It's so disgusting. But that's the things they do. They started doing that as soon as I got the V2K, which started on August 19, 2019. I can never forget that date, because that's the day I want to always remind myself that at that point, my brain never been the same. The way I perceive children, the way I perceive kids of all ages have been sexual. From the babies to the older kids. It's been nasty. Nothing but nastiness. And I was forced to have dreams about babies in so nasty ways, so many nasty ways. So many nasty ways. And so there's people who live around me whose job is to disrupt me, to break me down. And I think the perps are around me. At least it feels like then there's some of them around me. For example, there's a next door neighbor, and then I have a balcony. I don't see them. I haven't seen them since I think a year or so. I have not seen them for maybe a year. I haven't seen a single person there for a year. And I remember before I moved in, they were kind of visible, but they become more and more less visible. I would say, be lesser and lesser visible, because of, as I'm making these videos, they understand that if I see them, I will associate them with what they're involved with. That psyop they wanted to present with me, they wanted to create this psyop that this is a group of women that are protecting or avenging this, like they wanted to come up with this fantasy. And they like to use their gender as a way, as if, look at us, we're women, and as women, we're protecting these women that you've done things to. That's what they say. You've done this thing wrong to this person, and they're delusional to think that I'm gonna look at these people as people who are not in a program that is out here killing and frying and doing all these horrible things to these defenseless women. They wanted me to look at them as that. You know how delusional you have to be? They wanted me to look at them as in, like, oh, for example, I'm making up this name, oh, Corny, or what you did to Corny this way. And I'm like, listen, all the women you've done these horrible things to, you guys are in a program that is killing women and torturing and raping women every day. And you want me to let you escape in that fantasy? And they're like, no, this is, we're different. And they try to make themselves be like, this is a different fund. We're using our own money. It's a different, like, it's delusional stuff. No, all these women, all these people screaming and asking for, begging for help. You think I'm going to let you go into that fantasy land just because you want to be involved in this program and delude yourself in these ways that you're doing it to, like you're some kind of femme fatale, Kill Bill type of, no. A Kill Bill will kill you. The misery and torture you've done to women, these people are delusional. And they're like, no, I personally didn't do that. But you're in a program that does that to women. And if you haven't done that, your colleagues have done that. There's people with much more experience than others and have done that to women, even children, doing this thing to me. And they want to go into it. I was like, no, not with me, I'm sorry. I understand it's part of the psyop, it's part of the gaslighting, but I'm not going to let you go into that fantasy. So they know I see them for what they're involved in and what they're part of, and how the horrible things they've done to women. So with me knowing that and associating them exactly for what they're involved in, they don't like to be seen anymore because they wanted to create that psyop. I was like, look at us, we're such intellectuals of progressive women. I was like, you're just a bunch of trash and fraud, and you make actual feminists, actual protectors of women look bad because trash like you are involved in a program that is out here killing and frying and doing horrible things to women, raping, tortures of all sorts, are making them look bad. You're just trash. There's nothing fierce about you. You're just a coward, low life, an opportunist that's involved in a program that is out here doing some of the foulest things to women. Trash. And so when I say these things, of course they tell me how I'm dying, right? Not because they just want to warn me to go, oh, go get better. You're dying. No, it's because I'm saying what they do to women. And so this is a way they try to disorient a target individual in order to maintain the psyop. And talking about yesterday, I finally got to see one of the neighbors from the next door there. Like, everybody here it's like more of a family. Most of them here look like these people who've been around for a while. But this one across me, who I can see their balcony, look like they're kind of just moved in because I'm here, right? And even though the other apartments seem like they've been around for longer, it seems like they also have people coming in, living with them that participate in my torture, right? But this apartment right across, these people I never see them. They don't look like, like it look like they just come here just to torment me. And they just rarely show themselves. And I think it's because they're just 100% perps, like others maybe have families, these ones are probably 100% perps. And so yesterday I got I'm listening to what's happening in these CIA agencies, right? And in regard of like there's so much pedophilia and all the, like they're a bunch of pedophiles in this agency. So I'm in the hallways throwing the trash, and every time I'm outside, I make sure that I listen to something out loud, because these people around me wanted to live this fantasy, but I'm putting things in perspective. Here is the people who contract to you guys. CIA agent doing things to 2-year-old and 6-year-old, raping children, doing this, like this is what you guys, this is who's running this show. And this is no wonder why you guys do this pedophilia type of torture. Because they do these tactics of tormenting you using pedophilia type of tormenting. So they make you think in these pedophilia ways to break you down. They make you dream in these pedophilia ways to break you down. They make you react in a sexual way in this pedophilia way to break you down. It's a tactic they've been using on others. It's such a systematic tactic that so many others have talked about it. It's so nasty. So I'm outside listening to these articles calling out the fact there's a bunch of pedophiles in this agency. And I don't know where this person comes in. I can hear her keys. I get my phone to listen. I can hear her keys coming in. And I can see her a little bit. She's somewhat, I think she wanted to distract me because, I'm not perfect. I do look at women in a sexual way, right? And that's my perfection. And so they try to use something. Sometimes they try to make themselves look certain ways in order to try to distract me. And this person comes, she comes, and I'll give her like late 20s. I'm giving her from 28 to 31, something like that. And she's somewhat, quite womanly in the sense that she's voluptuous. And she's trying to like distract me, and I'm looking at her, and instead of like maybe like looking at her in a way that's sexual, it didn't hit me, because I was so lost in the fact that these people do these pedophilia things. Not even the pedophilia thing, that these agencies are filled with pedophiles. And she was trying to block that out. And I'm looking at her, and now I'm associating her. This person is involved in this program where these people, these pedophiles, are truly running the show. This bottom feeder, she's not in charge of anything here. She might be killing me, but it's because I'm put this program by somebody else, and this program contract people like her to do these things. And this program is run by this intelligence community. So she's a nobody, but she knows very well, and she's trying to counter the fact that this problem of pedophilia in this agency is a true problem. And this is who she works for. Maybe not directly, but these are the people in charge of what she's doing right now. So I'm looking at her for this bottom feeders. In every level, you're just trash. You do the pedophilia type of torture. The entities contracting you are filled with pedophiles. You actually even torture children. You're out here suffocating 7-year-old autistic kids. I know what you guys do to babies. And she wanted to be like, try to present, no, I see you for truly the trash that you are. To stop trying to make yourself like, I'm going to see you truly for what you are. That little thing for you try to go back in. I'm not going to let you live your fantasy. You nasty bottom feeder. You're out here abusing and torturing children and doing all these horrible things, and the entity in charge are actually a bunch of child rapists, of a bunch of CIA doing things to kids. You fucking trash. And you out here trying to rewire my brain in this way. Get your trashy ass in your apartment. Nasty low lives. But they're trying to like distract me in these ways. And then now they try to like have a battle because like they're like, how old is she? I could see her hair, but to me I'm giving her like 28, 27. They try to make me imagine her like, they even making her like kind of skinnier to try to make her like more childlike. And, it's crazy how in my mind they try to like change her. I'm like, she's like a 28, 29, maybe even 30 years old. Trying to force me to look at her try to make me imagine her to be like an underage or something like that. She's like 20 something, late 20s. Might actually be 30 years old. But they have no shame. They could do anything. This is so nasty. This is just nasty. And in my brain, they try to be like the battles. How old is she? But the whole truth is, they're just trying to disorient you and break you down. It's so nasty. But at the end of the day, before I die, understanding that my death can come at any point, I'm just so thankful I didn't have to live life like her. She's gonna die too. This trash is gonna die, and whenever time comes, she'll go. I don't envy this person at all. And she doesn't look like disheveled or anything. She looks like she's healthy and whatever. But just the nastiness of what she's part of, I could see it. And she was trying to counter that because she was trying to present herself as like a presentable individual. I'm like, nah. And she tried to show that confidence. Like, pull that confidence. Listen to your confidence. That's why you haven't been on your balcony since. That moment was maybe the bravest thing she ever done. Which I hope she does again, because next thing I do is take a picture and we see each other on YouTube. I'll be making sure that you see her for what she is. I blur these people's face because who they truly are doesn't matter. And it's like, I just want to show them as the concept that they are. Like, this is the kind of person that will do things horrible around you and then walk around and try to pretend like she's a normal person. Or try to normalize these things, be involved in this program that does these horrible things to people. And when she tries to play the femme fatale feminist thing, I'm like, listen, I know you are here raping and torturing women till they kill themselves. And those women are calling out, there's a lot of women doing this, like you. So with me, if you see yourself and you see me, I swear to God, they'll know 100%. And when I was standing in the hallway, and I could feel her. I could feel myself I feel myself like, I'm not any better than any man. But when you stand by somebody who's a perp, it's just something that brings you up feeling like you're a better person. Like, it's just like, you're not a better person, but like you have an energy of like dignity that makes them like be nothing. And then you feeling special, like something. And I'm like a skinny little dying person. And and I'm like, look, I can just feel the nothingness in her. I've just a flow of shit. And she's very presentable. But just like, ugh. And that's because they do these foul things. And this is the things they try to counter. Really try to make herself seen while I'm listening to this piece about why is there so many pedophiles in this intelligence community. Why are they letting so many pedos working in these agencies at high rank when they can find these things? And her job was to try to distract me from that. How can you make yourself look good doing this? So to all my target individuals, stay strong. I rather rot to death than being rot in life, low life like her. try to distract people from listening to what's going on in these entities because you are contracted by those entities. Trash. Tell my target individual, stay strong.